All black people have been waking up with a heavy heart. I wish America loved black people as much as they love black culture.
You can't tell me when that man had his knee on my brother's neck that smirk on his face didn't say I'm protected.
And as a young person, you gotta listen to our perspective. Our voices need to be heard. I'm 23 years old, I don't know all the answers, but I feel how everybody else is feeling.
Imagine the cries from a 6-year-old girl that just found out her daddy's been murdered for the world to see, violently, for no reason.
As a black man, raising black kids in America, we're scared as hell.
I got brothers, I got sisters, I got friends that are in the streets, that are out here, that are experiencing just discrimination day after day, dealing with the same bull.
See us outside of just being entertainment and walk with us lock in step even when it's uncomfortable.
I got a grandfather that marched next to Dr. King in the 60s, and he was amazing. He would be proud to see us all here. We got to keep pushing forward. We need more leaders.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
We wanted to come out here and let our voice be heard because we stand for the truth. We stand for justice.
Being a celebrity, being an NBA player don't exclude me from no conversation.
I can't breathe. 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 I can't breathe.
Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols, and what you just saw there was a small taste of how the NBA community was involved in this weekend's protests, rallies, and cleanup events. And I want to note that the official arm of the league was behind them. While over the years, so many other sports leagues have made it implicitly clear to their players there are consequences for speaking out against police brutality and discrimination, Adam Silver yesterday explicitly sent out a memo going the other way, saying he was, quote, heartened by the many members of the NBA and WNBA family speaking out to demand justice, urging peaceful protest, and working for meaningful change. And Silver was joined by prominent black voices from around the league. Doc Rivers lived through the Rodney King riots back when he was a player for the Clippers. He lived through vandals burning his house down because he had dared to marry a white woman. And now he is living through this. Quote, the response we are seeing across the nation to the murder of George Floyd is decades in the making. Too often, people rush to judge the response instead of the actions that prompted it. We have allowed too many tragedies to pass in vain. This isn't an African-American issue. This is a human issue. And Michael Jordan, the NBA's only black team owner, said, quote, I am deeply saddened, truly pained, and plain angry. I stand with those who are calling out the ingrained racism and violence toward people of color in our country. We have had enough. We must listen to each other, show compassion and empathy, and never turn our backs on senseless brutality. Our unified voice needs to put pressure on our leaders to change our laws, or else we need to use our vote to create systemic change. Of course, we all know that what's going on right now isn't going to be fixed with statements, and it's not a problem the sports world is going to go out and solve for everyone. The divisions and inequalities in this country are deeper and wider and more insidious than one segment of our society could possibly wrap its arms around. But make no mistake, the sports world is part of this conversation. In America, it's our sports teams that are often a city's most visible business. We all know wearing a hat with our favorite team's logo is shorthand for how we identify where we're from. In a lot of places, there are more people in a stadium on Sunday than there are in church. So when sports teams officially, publicly come down on the side of those wanting change, it matters. And it matters for athletes to be heard too. Some of these players are the most visible young black men and women in America. Their voices carry not just in their own communities, but throughout the country, to fans who might not have any friends who look like them or know what it is like to wake up every day and be them. Back in the 30s, it was Jesse Owens shaming Adolf Hitler. In the late 1940s and 50s, it was Jackie Robinson bringing change to America one crack of the bat at a time. In the 60s, it was Bill Russell, Kareem, Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali. And they beget Tommy Smith and John Carlos, and they beget Colin Kaepernick. And now we see a new generation of athletes taking up the mantle. So today on The Jump, we're going to talk about basketball, and we're also going to talk about what's going on in this country, because the two subjects are indeed related.